Okay, welcome to this week's session of the 2020 WebCenter Olympics. I believe we're in week 15 now. We've got so many great recorded presentations, and this will be another great session. As we mentioned last week, these last few weeks, what we're going to do is highlight some of our top WebCenter owners and certified WebCenter trainers to really kind of walk the WebCenter owners through a case study, a testimonial, a review of a client that they have onboarded to the web solutions and MA Web Centers, and really just give you an idea, a look, a feel of how a process might go. It's obviously not always smooth sailing all the way through, but you'll see in every single instance, we do highlight the fact that these trainers and Web Center owners have followed that 5 C's, right? Always making sure that we're following that systemized approach and adding value at every step of the way. And you'll see how that results in happy clients. It will retain clients. It'll build share of customer to add on more products and services, and also increase the likelihood of referrals as you continue on as a Web Center owner. So for tonight, we have our certified Web Center trainer from the Bay Area, Mr. Stephen Tang, with us tonight, and he's going to talk to you about one of his clients. We're so fortunate to have Stephen on board. He's been with us now for 2 years and will continue. He's been such a success. For those that have been following on the Web Center Owner Support Facebook group, you've seen that he's had some success. He's got new clients coming on board. So not only is he talking the talk, but he's also walking the walk. So I would advise you to take notes. He's got some incredible information to share with you, not only just about our products, services, and his client, but also the process and sales strategies, sales tips, and account management ideas to really help you grow your Web Center business. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, Stephen.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Jason, can you hear me?
We can.
Perfect. Awesome. Ready to rock and roll. Well, first of all, I want to thank Jason for this opportunity, allowing me to share my case study. What a privilege to work with Jason. If you guys don't know, Jason works day and night. He doesn't sleep. He lives, sleeps, and breathes Web Center. And so a huge thank you for Jason for running 15 weeks, 16 weeks now of the Olympics. So you deserve a medal yourself.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. So guys, thank you everyone for jumping on this webinar with me. And I'm very excited to share one of my clients, a case study that I hope will be able to shed some encouragement to you guys and give you a little taste of what I go through and what I do when it comes to the 5 C's for our business and growing the Web Center solution. So talking about the 5 C's, just sort of doing a quick recap and overview of what we talk about, similar to the basic 5, we have our version of the 5 C's, right? It's candidates, current, contact, consult, and close. So the candidate phase is really to identify your leads, building your names list, right? So we like to do that through networking events. I go to quite a lot pre-COVID. I used to go to quite a lot of networking events. I love getting referrals and referral marketing and building my names list, right? Through my warm market, through people I know, and through people that they know, right? Friends of friends, so to speak. So once you build your names list, so to speak, you want to do a little bit of research. So for me, I hop on Google, I go on LinkedIn, I go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even Yelp sometimes, just to kind of check up the business, right? Depending on the type of business I'm targeting, depending on the person, I want to kind of know as much information as possible, right? You want to do your homework, but don't get caught up on spending hours and hours of research, because sometimes you might be caught in analysis, paralysis by analysis, right? They call it, or the other way around. So for me, I typically spend anywhere between 3 to 4 minutes max, right? Just a quick glance on Google, just to see what's out there, just to see, is there anything positive, anything negative? How high do they rank on the Google searches? I really want to take a look at their online presence, right? How do they control that, right? Are they on Facebook? Are they on social media? Are they on Instagram, right? Is it a brand that warrants that, right? And really, in the back of my mind, what goes through is I'm thinking, what is their go-to market strategy? How are they building awareness, right? So those are some things that I'm just kind of going through my mind. Then After I've done a little bit of research, I'll decide, hey, is it better for me to pick up the phone and call this prospect? Is it better for me to just shoot a quick email, or is it text, right? So again, depending on the business and who I'm talking to, and there's so many different ways. I personally have been trained in my sales background to do phone calls, just to pick up the phone and dial for dollars, so to speak, right? My past roles, I've been in sales and very familiar with cold calling, telemarketing. So I prefer calling people because I believe that you can never replace that human touch. And I know with technology these days, it makes it super easy for you to hide behind email, hide behind text. But again, it's also super easy for the person on the other end to also ignore you. So for me, I like phone calls, and so you'll see how I call my prospect later on in my case study. Then after you call the prospect, you want to be able to set up an appointment, right? You want to be able to ask a few, questions about their online presence, about their website, or about their digital marketing efforts, and be able to sort of grab their interest, right? And then be able to sort of set an appointment to have a 15-minute consultation. Before we even think about engaging together, let's sit down and talk and figure out if we're a good fit, if I can even help you, right? So I really love the 15-minute consultation. I really love the resources that WebCenter has, the 15-minute sheets. There's a lot of great questions in there. And for those of us that are new, that are new to WebCenters, or new to sales, or new to prospecting, that is a great place to start, right? And of course, me, I've had a little more experience, so I'm a little more advanced, and so I have a lot more questions that I ask in addition to the sheet, that really kind of bring out the needs of the client, right, of the customer. But at the end of the day, there's 4 things that you need to qualify, right, before you leave the 15-minute consultation. Number 1, are they the decision makers? Who you're talking to? If you pop in a restaurant, you might talk to the general manager, who may be a great influencer, but he or she may not be the owner of the restaurant. So ultimately, as much as the GM says, yeah, I can make decisions, really the real decision that they can make is tell you no, right? When it comes to a yes, it really goes back to the owner, right? Or of a dentist, or a practice, or of a professional services firm, right? So you really want to figure out who the decision makers are, and who the influences are of that decision, right, maker. The second is you want to figure out, hey, is there even a need? Can you even help this prospect, right? And so through a little bit of information gathering, hopefully you'll be able to uncover some pain points and uncover some of the things that they can use our services for. Keep in mind, the 15-minute consultation is not a time for you to sell, right? This is a time for you to gather information, just like a detective, right, or a doctor, right? Your initial meeting, right, the initial phase of that meeting is to gather information, is to ask the right questions, so that then you can make the diagnosis, right? Number 3 is timeline. What is their timeline? Are they, if you can help them, are they looking to move quickly? Are they looking to move within the next, month or so? Or is it 6 months down the line, or is it a 2-year down the line thing to redesign their website? So you want to have that in mind so that you know how to follow up with them appropriately. The last thing you want is to figure out a client is looking to do the website, but a year later, right? And every week you're going, hey, how's it going? Hey, what are you up to? Hey, can I help you? Hey, let's talk. You're going to turn that person off. So knowing their timeline really helps you to be able to gauge how to follow up and how to move the prospect along in the sales process. And finally, last but not least, the most important question that a lot of new people don't ask, or they're afraid to ask, is what is your budget, right? And time again, I see people fail to ask this question, go into a sales appointment and shoot themselves in the foot. Why? Because maybe they're out of the budget range, or worse yet, they leave a ton of money on the table. And this is how I teach in my WebCenter classes, how you can earn more than $1,000 retail profit just by simply asking, hey, what is your budget? A lot of times you'll get the answer, you know what, you tell me what it should be. And that's fine, right? but you still need to ask, right? Because if you don't ask, you don't know. So, so once you gather kind of those information on the 15-minute consultation, your next step is to book a web demo, right? A website demo with the product specialist. And there you basically turn it over to the web center specialist, the product specialist, and let them run the show. I love this part because as seasoned as a sales veteran as I am, I definitely do not mind someone else selling on my behalf and me getting credit for it. In fact, I love it when my product specialist is able to not only edify me, but be able to be a credible source, right? As much as I can talk and I can do the selling, a lot of times customers see me as the salesperson, right? And there's a kind of dynamic there that they get, okay, well, you're just telling me because you want to sell me something. But when a product specialist is there to sell on your behalf or give them the demo, they are the product expert, right? They have this sort of credibility and this cloud around them that whatever they say kind of goes, right? Because they're the expert. I'm the sales guy. So I love booking the sales appointment, the web center, the website demo appointment, and have my product specialist close for me. And what my job is to give them all the info, right? Get really good notes, give them all the information that they need so that they know the pain points, they know the goals, they know what the client is looking for, and they know the budget, right? And their timeline so that they're able to move the client along the sales process for me. So in the high level, gave you a quick synopsis of the 5 C's. And so
I'm going to interrupt you real quick, Stephen. I know that you've got your slides in front of you, but it seems as though the slideshow is not displaying on our end. We're just seeing the slide sorter view.
Okay.
So there we go. So now we're seeing the 5 C's. We can still see the slides on the side, which is fine.
Perfect. How about now? Can you see is it playing?
So it says play, but it might be playing in the background of this screen.
How about now?
Again, we're seeing the 5 C's on the front end, but it still has a slide sorter view on the left, which is fine. So if you want to just do it from that view is fine.
Let's see.
I know it's a Keynotes issue sometimes.
How about now? What do you see?
Yeah, so we just see the 5 C's slide. The play button is grayed out and the slides on the left-hand side, which is fine. So I think if you just go from this view, we'll still be able to see the slides as you change the slides.
Okay, but at least you can see the slides.
Yes, so we can see the 5 C's on the screen now, which previously we could not.
Okay, got it. Apologize that I was going through my 5 C's and you're like, what is this guy talking about?
Oh, and it looks like we've got Carmen says the screen is white. Hang on, let me see. Carmen says now we can see the slide.
Oh, I just turned it off.
All right, so if we go from there, that should be fine. We can see the slide now. Don't worry about playing the slideshow.
Oh, whoops. How about now?
So we see the 5 C's, but we don't see you advance to the next slide.
What do you see now?
Still the 5 C's slide.
That's weird.
So if you just get there, now we can see the halo jewelry.
Oh, okay, got it. I just moved. Okay.
That's a blacked out screen.
Okay, so this is where I want to start. My case study.
Case study, halo jewelry. Yep.
Okay, perfect, great. So diving into the case study, I want to introduce to you my client, Halo Jewelry. They're a brand local here in the Bay Area, an online e-commerce jewelry store. So candidates, right? So how they came to me was through a referral. So it was through sort of a agency that took on larger clients, and Halo Jewelry reached out to them, but unfortunately, because of this client's budget, they weren't able to take them on. So what ended up happening was, because I built a relationship through my network, they passed it over to me, and I was glad to take on that referral, right? I mean, who wouldn't? So for you out there that are looking to network, you can go to BNI, which is Breakfast Network International. You can go to Chamber of Commerce. You can look on Facebook events. You can look at meetups and Eventbrite. Now, I understand that we're in COVID right now, and there's a lot of events that are sort of moved online, but there's still a lot of resources. You can go to the websites, you can go to BNI pages, and just simply reach out to people on those on their directory, right? If you're able to access that. So a lot of ways for you to still be able to network and reach out to people, even though we're all sort of shelter in place and stay at home right now, right? So don't be afraid to reach out to people in that way. So that's part of the candidates. Then because it's a new business, it's a customer that doesn't have an online presence right now, I wasn't able to find much information, if at all, right, on the company. So what I did was, instead of looking up that company, I looked up the industry. I looked up what are other online jewelry stores out there. Because then when I go into my consultation and when I go to talk to the client, I'll have a little sense of, hey, are you a company just like Tiffany & Co., or are you a company like Shane & Co.? They're two very vastly different companies with different clientele and very different go-to-market strategies, right? So for me, I did a little bit, more homework because I couldn't find much information of them online.
Okay, so
And by the way,
real quick,
Jason,
we're going to have you, we still just see the first case study slide that says Halo Jewelry.
okay, oh, I'm moving along.
Yep, so there we go, current. Yep, keep it just like that. Perfect.
Okay, I'll just keep like this then. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, I want to be able to find a little bit more information just so I have a little bit of kind of conversation, right, to be able to speak with the client. Then the next thing is I decide, how do I want to contact them? Since this was a referral, again, I could have easily did an email intro, but instead I opted to give them a call. Again, my preference is giving a phone call first and then leaving a voicemail, just let introduce myself. But if they don't pick up, then of course I'm going to follow with an email, right? So luckily, when I gave my client a call, she picked up, and we basically had a quick, high-level discussion on what her needs were, right? So I did a little mini consultation just so I can understand what they're looking for and schedule a follow-up meeting together. One of the things that I uncovered during this quick little introductory call was the fact that she wanted some a social media presence. She needed help with social media, right? And I was like, great, we can help you there. But as she talked more about it, it came to my attention that more than just someone to execute it, she needed someone to really help her put something in place for her. She really needed a consultant to guide her for her go-to-market strategy and help her build brand awareness. And so immediately I thought of a good friend of mine who I met through BNI, a networking sort of organization, and I immediately thought of her to introduce her and bring her in. Now, why did I decide to bring her in? Well, first of all, as much as I know what solutions our product is able to help the client, I thought, hey, what other resources can I bring to the table that can also set me apart as a trusted advisor to my client? And so by bringing in someone else, another expert, that positions me a little bit better, right? And so that was my thought process, to bring in someone, and more importantly, I knew that the person that I brought in, the consultant, would knock it out of the park. So so I brought her in, and I'll share with you later on why that was so super effective. Then after I contacted her, I scheduled the 15-minute consultation, right? So we scheduled it for a certain day where I can bring in my my social media consultant so that we can basically tag team together, right? But prior to the meeting, I had to be on the same page with my social media consultant. So we had a quick little powwow, the day before, and we kind of talked about our goals, what we wanted to achieve on the call, and basically the strategy, right? How we would handle this meeting. We met at my client's office, and I will always recommend, if you're able to meet in person, meet in person. If you're able to go to your client's office, go to your client's office, right? Why? It's because there's so much information you can gather just by being in person, just by being there, right? So that you can use that as your ammo throughout your presentation or throughout your 15-minute consultation. What do I mean? Immediately when I walked in the door, I saw her jewelry. I saw displays, right? I saw a couple people in the back office, two older ladies, and I saw her own office space, a large desk, right? And she's got pictures of her family. She's got pictures of her dog, whatnot, right? So what I saw was this person, right, that I'm going to talk to has a certain personality type. Now, let's say if I walked into a room and I saw awards and I saw accolades and I saw trophies, what does that tell you? That tells you this person is probably very much about awards and about achievement, right? And so by being able to go into someone's office, place of business, you're able to pick up a lot of things, a lot of information that you could use throughout your conversation. And the most important part is building rapport, right? Because we're in the people business as well. So building rapport was super important. And you can use the office surroundings, you can use all this information that you gather to continue to build rapport, right? And so as we sat down, my social media consultants and I, we basically were able to also edify one another. I talked about how great she was at what she did. She talked about how great I was at what I did. And boy, it was great, edification going back and forth. And you could really tell the prospect felt super comfortable immediately, just hearing a third party sort of quote unquote testimonial or review, right, on the spot of her edification of each other really gave her a sense of comfort. And we proceeded to gather the information that we needed, really ask really good questions. And here during the consult phase, we have, again, the sheets that I talked about, right? The B2B survey consultation sheets. These sheets are great. Use them all the time, please. And make sure you don't leave any questions unanswered, right? In addition to that, you can ask a lot of other questions, right? Some of the questions that I ask are, hey, what are some of your goals for your website? What do you want to achieve through it, right? Are you looking to build brand awareness, or is it a lead generation website? Are you looking for a marketing website or a brochure website? Are you looking for e-commerce? Are you looking for any other integrations? Any features or functionality that you're looking for, right, for your website? Then I also want to ask about their demographic, right? I want to ask about, hey, who are your target audiences? In sales, we call this the ideal customer profile. What is your ideal customer profile, your ICP, right? Do you know what it is? And for my client, Hilo Jewelry, it was young professionals in the age of 20 to 35, 40, young that would love to purchase jewelry, right? Now, mostly in the female demographic, but also male, because they would be able to buy gifts for their girlfriend's fiance or wife, right? So knowing your ideal customer profile, you're able to really target your go-to-market strategy. And then I ask questions like, how do you plan to advertise? Are you going to be purchasing Google AdWords, Facebook marketing, social media, right? How do you plan to drive traffic to the website? I want to get a good sense of her strategy, right? Again, I want to know what she's thinking, right? So that I can come back and formulate a solution for her, right? Through our products and services. So ask really good questions. And if you don't have a lot of questions, you can also Google questions to ask, right? That's how I first got started. I used my best friend Google. And so by asking all these questions, again, I did not sell. I didn't say, oh yeah, we can do this and this is how we do it. And I didn't vomit, our products and services. I simply gathered all the information that I need and say, great, you know what? I think I can help you, right? The next steps is to schedule a website demo. And so while I scheduled the website demo, interestingly enough, my client whipped out her credit card and actually signed up for my social media consultant services right on the spot. So immediately I knew that she was going to be my client, just from the rapport and the trust that we were able to build throughout the meeting. And I technically could have also signed her up on the spot to be my client, but I said, hey, you know what? I think it's very valuable to have her see my platform first and to have my product specialist edify me even more and the company so that she feels super comfortable using this the web solution, the WebCenter platform. So the next steps, I scheduled the web demo, and prior to the call, I fill out the sheet, right? I fill out, all the notes. I gave my product specialist all the information that he needed so that he would be able to close my client. Gave all the, again, the hot buttons, the pain points, not pain points, but pain points, and also all the information that I gathered throughout the call that would be helpful for the product specialist to bring up, right? Again, my job is on the call to edify the product specialist and then go on mute and let the product specialist just take it home, right? And so the client ended up purchasing on the spot the website plus e-commerce design package, and lo and behold, surprise, surprise, we came under her budget. Why? Well, because I knew what her budget was. I knew how much she spent on her credit card with my social media consultant, right? And so if I didn't know these the answers to these questions, right, I would have priced myself way too high or way too low, right? But because I wanted to give her a really good deal and really good service, we actually came in just shy of her budget so that she had a little bit of wiggle room to maybe potentially spend on um, um, Google AdWords or SEO services, right? Which is kind of what I planned for her. So after we sold the website, the next steps was to schedule an onboarding call, which I guess I wouldn't go too much detail on that right now because of time today. But once the client sells, your job actually doesn't end right there, right? Your job is to also see it through to make sure that the client is connected to our project manager, filling out the design wizard if they purchase the design package, and the separate training, I guess, for that as well, how to really be a good resource for your client and be a good account manager. So the entire process from end to end, the website is launched, and boy, is she happy, right? This is kind of what you see. I put a little bit together the screenshot, but I was really pleased that our team was able to launch her website in less than 6 weeks. Initially, she was thinking 3 to 4 months, right? But kudos to our team of designers and my client, responding in a timely manner, and we were able to basically bring out a concept and go to market and help her with that. More importantly, with the website up and running, my social media consultant friend, she was also able to do her part of creating the social media assets, Facebook, Instagram, and be able to help her kind of take off from there. So my client's super happy. It was a win-win situation for all the parties involved, and it was a fantastic experience, working with this client and yeah, super excited that she's with us even so to today. So that's my client and my case study that I wanted to share. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Jason.
Well, that was fantastic. Thank you so much, Stephen. I was actually on mute and I was taking notes myself. So many great things that you mentioned, and it really reiterated the main point of all of our trainings through this WebCenter Olympics has really been about building the relationship, all the way from networking, meeting a client, having the referral, bringing in another professional, just outstanding, and really just following that 5 C's and following the tools and resources and leveraging the teams of professionals. You've done a stellar job, and obviously because of that, you got a great result with the client, and you're going to have a client for a long time. But I did want to point out something unique that you have done here, and I hope the audience takes this away as well, is that you used this opportunity to collaborate with another professional. And that was so smart on your part. Like you said, it's something that you probably could have offered either yourself or through web centers. But by building an ally, another relationship with another industry professional, what you've done has been able to not only provide a great service for your client, but you'll also be able to share the client with this other professional, which builds more value and trust, in which case there's going to be more referrals that come from this collaborative partner as well. I think it was ingenious, and it really is advanced when we talk about a training topic, but it's really not advanced. It's just about building relationships and allies of people that you already know, right? So
And
wonderful,
Jason, sorry,
wonderful job.
one more. Right, and Jason, to your point as well, I forgot to mention this, but I was also able to have her see our affiliate program too. So another plus why I also thought about bringing a partner in.
Exactly. So I was actually going to say, and
Yeah.
that's a future person on your list of candidates for a potential prospect as a WebCenter Pro, WebCenter Pro partner affiliate. Um, but regardless of how that goes, it might turn out to be a great business partner. But regardless, you will get referrals and you might be doing more projects together as a great way to continue to build each other's businesses. And that's really the kind of the day and age we're in right now is more about collaboration than competition, and we see that from Market America, and we always talk about that fact. But a lot of people in the business world are not even in tune to that. It's just so outside of their normal scope. They might refer business, but to actually bring in someone to collaborate with really sets you apart and builds further credibility and trust as a professional. So outstanding job, Stephen. I want to thank you for being on and being our guest presenter for tonight. Certainly lots of great tips and tricks, but maybe I'll just ask you one final question before we close the recording is for our newer Web Center owners on the line and following this contest and training, is there one tip or one thing that you would highlight and recommend to a brand new Web Center owner to start to see some success in their Web Center business?
Wow. I think the one tip besides watching all the videos and following the 5 C's is really just go do it, right? Don't be afraid to fail. I always tell new web center owners or new franchise owners or anybody new to sales is that don't be afraid to make mistakes. In fact, you want to make mistakes early on, right? Early and often, right? So that you get them out of the way, learn from it so that you can develop yourself and grow, right? So continually grow and continually make mistakes, but make them in a way that allows you to sort of grow from it.
That's great. So that's a great tip right there. I love what you just said. Make mistakes early and often, right? Because that forces you to grow. So again, Stephen, looking forward to more great things from you. I know that you are on track with another incredible year with Web Centers. We're happy to have you on board as a certified Web Center trainer. Um, so what we'll do is we'll close out the recording. We'll open up for some Q&A as well. So thank you everyone for joining us. You can start using the chat box or the Q&A feature if you have anything that you want to ask Stephen or myself.